All right. We should be live. And I will start setting things up. Let me check, make sure that things are running. Looks like things are running. As far as I can tell, everything is fine. Bring that up. Bring this up. And we'll start here. Okay, we are starting today with and we have two more. We have a and then what is after that? Oh, okay. Bam. Okay, that's up and going. Move these. That's fine. Make sure that this is popping up. That's popping up. Hey, what's going on, man? Set this for live. Everything seems to be updating properly, and we should be on our way. Okay. No channel updates today that I could think of, aside from to say that I haven't edited anything. It's been a week trying to figure some stuff out, and got my kid going to school, and we're trying to figure out homework and stuff like that, and set our schedules down and stuff. And that's pretty much what's taking our time right now. That, and I'm trying to set some stuff up to jump back into photography again and to get some shots going. I have a couple of ideas, but I haven't really gotten around to doing any of them. And it is what it is. Look, the thing about this hobby, in all honesty, is sometimes you get going in it and you almost got to take a step back. Like, it's easy to keep the pre-orders and keep stuff coming in and keep rearranging the things and then not do the extra things that you want to do. And every now and then you kind of have to take a break and kind of jump into those other things deliberately. And if I want to get back to some photography and stuff like that, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to purposely tell myself, okay, slow down. Let's work with these for a minute. Get the shots you want, and then we'll come back and keep doing this. And I'm going to have to do that, realistically, is ground myself a little more. And every now and then you definitely have to do that. Did I see 50 Cent for the Street Fighter movie? No, I did not know that. I did not know that at all. And I don't know how I feel about a live Street Fighter movie. I'm just going to wait. Most video game movies I have found myself not liking. I mean, it's just the way that it is. They don't have a great reputation. I liked the first Mortal Kombat. I liked the first Resident Evil, actually. I guess I liked that new Mario movie. It's hard for me to even think of them, is what I'm saying. Most video game movies are bad. Like, they're just bad movies. And I don't know if we've really crossed the threshold of making good video game movies. I don't know if we're there. We'll have to wait and see. This could be a fluke that we've got a couple of them out. Am I getting the new unicorn mode? Yes, absolutely. I have hopes that She-Ra will turn it around. Because, wow. That last She-Ra was so bad. I did not see that movie. And even if I did, I don't know what I could or would think about it. I did see the Five Nights at Freddy movie, and I thought it was fine. Like, I had no problem with it, but I'm also not a subject matter expert, so there's not much for me to get mad about with Chuck E. Cheese animatronic killer movie. My kid watched it. She knows the stuff. She was able to tell me, oh, this isn't right. This part is wrong. This isn't quite what it's supposed to be. But even after telling me the things that were wrong, she was like, I thought it was fine. So, like, I didn't seem to have any problems with it. She didn't seem to have any problems with it. So I'm going to chalk it up to being a good video game movie, even though it's arguable if that's actually right or not. So, because we got in here at a weird time, we have 2 current viewers, and right now we have 1 vote, and 1 person could be watching as a ghost, and normally we would give this the full 10 minutes, but I might call this and get us started right off the bat, because, I mean, what else are we really doing? Right? And if Jada does win, if it has won, that will actually eliminate it from the pile. There will no longer be Jada to talk about, because this is the last Jada I happen to have waiting to be unboxed. After this, whatever Jada comes in, it has to wait for something to exit the show before new Jada can come in. By the way, 2 new lines have entered the show. They just haven't been done yet. One new line is DC Multiverse did come back into the show. It has 1 figure only. So if it gets voted on, it's dead in 1 hit. Also, Pokemon entered the line. There's a Pokemon. It is also 1 figure, 1 line, 1 thing. I don't think we've never opened one. I don't think we've ever talked about it, but it's also in the show. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And yes, I'm fully aware of this. Actually, I do know that. So, let's start. Blanca. Yes, Blanca. Look, this guy, just like Guile, was one of the first times I realized the game was cheating. See, I was pretty good at Street Fighter. I really was. And even as I got better and better and better, I found myself at a point where it didn't seem to matter how good I was. There were certain computer characters that would ream me in ways that didn't make sense. Like, I couldn't keep up with them, and I couldn't figure out why. And I was getting good by this time. I was getting real good. And I could consistently win on the higher difficulties, but I would get stuck on a couple of characters in particular, and one of them, every time on the higher difficulties, was him. Because he cheats. Not because it's hard, but because this was the first time I experienced a game where I knew something was wrong. I knew. I couldn't figure out what it was. I couldn't pinpoint it, but I knew something was wrong. Something wasn't right about the way the game was working. Because he would walk towards me and do the cannonball. He would do the cannonball, land on the ground, and if I went to jump kick, he could do the shocks before I could jump from a standing position to him with the jump kick. And I was like, something is weird. Like, why does he have... And like, here's the thing. He would sometimes get things like the electric thing, but he would get it like he would start walking towards me. I would go into the jump kick, and when I was about mid-air, he would just stop walking and be electrocuted. And I'm like, what is happening? I couldn't figure it out. I could not figure it out. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I would try. I remember at this time, I was still naive enough to think that the computer had to play by the same rules as us. So I kept saying, there's a way to do it. I don't know how to do it, but there's a way to do it. So I would try things like, I wonder if you can hit back or if the cannonball works the same way the other direction. Like I would think, maybe you could walk forward and then hit back in the button if he'll do the cannonball. Maybe that makes sense. No. And I remember being like, is there such a thing as being able to hold back while walking forward? And I would try it too, which was impossible because the D-pad was on a rocker and it wouldn't let you do that. But I would try. I would desperately be like, it's gotta be able to work because he can do it. If he can do it, how come I can't do it? And I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I absolutely could not figure it out. And I tried over and over and over again. I really did. I tried to figure out how he was doing the electric so fast. I tried to figure out how he was doing the cannonball while walking forward and such. And I finally had to admit to myself that the game cheats. I didn't like that realization. Like, I remember how mad that made me when I was younger. That playing Street Fighter 2, it wasn't fair. The game cheated. And I remember it for a while. It actually left such a bad taste in my mouth when I came to this realization when I got there, and I was like, the game cheats. You can't win. The game cheats. It's not fair. We're not on the same playing field. It doesn't matter how good I do. There's always, it can read my inputs and do things that aren't humanly possible, and it can just do moves that don't make sense because you can't do those moves the way the computer is doing them. They're not setting me up or something to do a certain move. They're like just doing the moves. I remember I got to this point where I finally said, I won't play the computer. And I started like really getting serious about anytime somebody came over, I'd be like, I'll fight you. I'll fight you. I'll fight people. I won't fight the computer. It cheats. It's not fair. I don't want it. I'm only willing to play a game that's willing to actually play the game correctly with me. So like that led to a whole different problem where I actually got really, really good at fighting human people. And then I got so good at learning, like, because if you don't know this, this is actually true in real fighting, like if you go into a sparring session, and it's also true in video games. People will develop fight patterns, things that work for them, and they'll begin to rely on them. And if you're quick enough with it, you can learn what those little things are and use them against them. You can create traps and lay into them and things like that. And I got really good at doing this. And there was very few people that I came across that could do it back to me. Like, I remember I would fight people and I would be able to kind of read what they were doing. And sure, maybe they were better than me. And they would beat me 4 or 5 times. And then I would start losing a couple times on purpose almost. I would test the waters. I'd be like, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try this, I'm going to see if I can get them to... And then after a while, I would start figuring out how they worked. Then I would start beating them. And then they would get mad because they couldn't win because their brain, once it was under pressure, kept telling them, resort to what works. Resort to what works. Because now there's a pressure and I'm fighting real hard and I'm fighting specifically against the thing that they know how to do. And every time they kind of leave that, like, comfort area and try something else, I would smash them. Because now they're playing in an uncomfortable area, and that's where I'm used to playing, so I would beat them pretty easily. There was only like one other person that I really knew that could do this to me, where they'd kind of get me into that area, and it was on Dead or Alive that I first really discovered it, where I had somebody that was fighting on that same level, where they would start to realize how I won and then use it against me, and then I would have to adapt to that. Those were the best fighting game days of my life. Early PlayStation 2, Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore, best fighting era in terms of fighting video games for my entire life. I used to wake up, I had my greatest enemy, the guy that was actually able to fight me on that game, and me being ridiculously good at the game. And we would wake up sometimes, and we were living together at the time, actually. We would wake up around like 9, 10 a.m., put that game in the PlayStation 2, hit the button, start playing. We'd be like, first guy to 200. And we would really play, that's not a joke. We would play 200, the first guy to get 200 wins. And we'd get nearly 400 games out of it. Because I could win about 10 or 12 in a row. Then he would figure out how, and he would come back at me, and he'd win like 7 or 8. Then I'd win. And I was pretty good about coming out on top, but not all the time. And that kept me playing that game like crazy. It was like the fighting game of my life, was that Dead or Alive 2. We played it unreasonably. And strangely enough, those fighting patterns all came from this, when I'm really thinking about it. Because this is what got me fighting people and analyzing how people fight instead of how computers cheat you. And I got really good at it. Let's open this thing. Alright, well, first off, that may have been the worst packaging that I have seen, like the most irritating packaging that I have seen from all of Jada. All of it. Everything I have ever opened, that may have been the worst of my unboxing experiences. That was ridiculous. like, he was banded in there like crazy, and there was a lot more tape than I remember from the other figures. And every time I felt like I'd cut him out or whatever, there was like an area that felt like it should be taped, but no, it was like, it even had those little stupid plastic tab things on a plastic overlay that was sitting on top of the head sculpt and everything. That was way too much. Way too much. I do not feel like he required that level of protection inside the box. But whatever. He's out now. So, yay. First off, his background right there. I have been keeping these, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I almost don't even know why. I keep them out of an instinct for, like, how I feel about, like, backgrounds. Because some backgrounds can be used. Like, I used the Marvel vs. Capcom training room background for the shelf right there, and it's working. But, like, this, once you put him on here, you got to get real close to get a good camera feature without catch. You see, it's hard to do there. You see how close you got to get to make it so that, like, you would only get, you know, him and the background. It's not realistic is what I'm saying. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure why I hang on to them. They're probably one of the things that in the long run I will end up getting rid of. Like, if I find myself needing the bottom shelf where they're sitting, and I'm like, hey, I could put some cars down there or something, you know, like a Batmobile or something. They're probably one of the first things to go. Because realistically, aside from doing like a straight-up headshot character portrait, they're not really useful. You can't really do much with these. They're just kind of cool packaging ideas. Now, if they were a little bigger and they folded out twice, and they were the actual backgrounds, you could probably do some cool shots with them. But they're not. They're not really a diorama type piece, and you can't really force them to be so. Well, he has two expression hands, or grabbing, or whatever you want to call them. And then, of course, he has fists. And then, there he is. His hair will not get in the way because it is very much the same kind of situation that we've been seeing with the other Jada figures. Like, I like the way they handle their hair. Their hair pieces are very, very well done. I'm a big fan of it. I think that this needs to become a standard for how hair is done in a lot of other lines like Marvel Legends, because then the hair doesn't get in the way of the female characters that turn their head and things like that. Otherwise, we're looking at full Jada abilities here. The arm goes back. There's decent butterflies to move the arms forward. A little less movement than I think we're used to, if I'm being perfectly honest with this one. Because, like, this is him pretty much crossing his arms. These are as far in as the butterflies go. And then going back, there's really not too much in terms of going back. I don't think this is a bad thing. And I don't think they're cheaping out. Don't misunderstand me. I think that this guy's sculpt does not lend himself as perfectly to their design, their body designs, as every other character. Now, that being said, this guy still has the neck. A lot of movement. He can look way up. He can look way down. I don't think you're going to have any problem bringing his hands up or anything like that, or doing anything that you want to do. His legs are solid, just like every other character that we've seen from this so far. I just tore his foot off, but that's okay. I'll put his foot back on here in a second. These are floating pieces. Be aware of that, to be fair. And now that we did tear his foot off, let's put his foot back on, so we prove that there's really not a big deal in terms of if you accidentally do that. There, his leg is back on. It really wasn't that big of a deal. There we go. Yep, double knee all the way back up to kicking his own butt, which means he'll easily be able to take on those like squatting little positions and whatnot. Damn. I'm going to be honest. he's giving me more trouble than any other Jada has. Can't say I'm loving what they did here with his feet, because I'm trying to grip here and put pressure to kind of pop out the knee, and when I put pressure, my thumb goes down a little bit and I'm pushing on this and it's popping this foot off, and that is not what I'm trying to do. And I did it again. Come on. This is the first Jada that I've had trouble with like this. There, I got it. There, I got it popped. Now it's working with me. Now we'll put this foot back on. Oh, okay. He's giving me more trouble than any Jada has. Come on. Go on there. I'm actually surprised at how much trouble he's giving me. You want the truth of it? Because so far, no other character has given me these problems. I don't think anybody's had this foot, though. This is a weird foot, and it's a real problem because there's also not a lot of like gripping power that you have, because this is kind of in the way, and you don't want to lose that part, but you do want to like get it on there. There, I think I got it. No. Come on, turn. There, I got it. Okay. Wow, what a pain. He's the first one I've had trouble like that with. Because I really don't like the fact that they did that with him. But, come on, can I get you to... This is about as close as you're going to get to the cannonball. I've got him way tucked in here. I've got his neck all the way down. I've got his arms pushed in and brought up to his chin. I've got his knees as high up as they'll go with the legs pulled down, kind of going down into his butt. But I need them a little more tucked. I think I got him a little more tucked. I think I got it. So you can kind of do the cannonball. Okay, since he's known for that. And then, of course, when you got him down like this, he came with electric effects, which are big enough to cover him and really give you that idea. And they're big enough and sturdy enough because they'll literally just sit. They got enough on the base that they'll sit. You could use them for other things. Like, for one, if you're Dragon Ball Z fans, you could take a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan or something like that, and you could have lightning effects. You could put on like one of those auras and put the lightning effects in front of it and create a Super Saiyan 2 aura type of effect. You could do that. This actually loans itself to that. It's a very nice reusable thing. And then of course he has Screaming Head. He's a solid character. He's fine. He is good. He is not my favorite one that we have unboxed, but he's in no means bad. He does give me more trouble than any one that we've seen so far, but in no means not undoable. And he's just a solid character. Once again, I will say that they got a pretty good win here. The paint on the body and everything is pretty nice. He's not just green. And I think that I'll do fine with him. I think that he'll go right down there with all the Street Fighter people, and he'll be fine. The only problem I'm having with him, I don't think his butterflies are perfect. I think they could have dealt with a little more cut, or they could have done a little bit more, because that's it. Like, every other character seems to have had better butterflies than him. This is it. This is the extent. He's tucked all the way in. See? That's still better than some characters. Let's be honest about some of the Marvel Legends and whatnot that we've bought over the years. So I'm not saying too much about it. I'm just simply pointing out some things that could become issues for some people. That's fine. Otherwise, solid. Nice first opening. And let me move this and go set this up. Bam. And then we'll answer some questions. There. All right. Let's see how things are going. What's that on my shirt? It's Astro Boy. That's Astro Boy. They did him dirty in the live action movie. Yes, they did. What's going on, man? Let's see. No, there is no Tarantino in Bill. No. He's not a bad figure. He's really not. He gives me the most trouble of any of the Jadas I've picked up so far, but he's really not a bad figure. Hey, Bill just got here. I am glad that I was able to see you reviewing Blanca. Well, good. Awesome. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. What's that robot thing in the background? You talking about Herbie? That's Fantastic Four Herbie. That's what that is. If that's what you're asking, that's what that is. I saw Superman 2025. It was kind of goofy, but fun. Fair. Hey, Bill, just got my Emma Frost and Cable from X-Men 97 Wave 3. Whoa. First off, before I move forward, what? I haven't even been notified, like, of anything. So you actually kind of threw me for a loop there, because as far as I have any information right now, they haven't come in. They're not scheduled to come in this month, I don't think. I ordered from Big Bad, and no, I don't know. I'm like, there's no indication that I'm about to get mine, but that's okay. I'm just hearing that people are getting them. I'll be able to kind of see some things and whatnot. That's cool. I'm happy for that. And if everybody else is getting theirs, I can't be too far behind. Awesome. Let's see. Love her. The cape does come off pretty easily. I heard it's just like you pop the head off, and then this is not connected. It's not something that we have to worry about like the last Emma, which is fantastic. Cape comes off pretty easily, though still hard to stand. There is that issue. Yes, she has those girl heels, like those hardcore girl heels. Is that comic accurate? Is that I feel like that's comic accurate. I feel like that's fantasy female accurate. I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly. It feels right for Emma is what I'm saying. But those heels on figures make them very hard to stand up. Sometimes I don't mind it when the character has heels and they put the heel on the figure but then fill in that area in between. I actually don't mind that sometimes because sometimes these characters need to stand up. Other times I have seen people that are currently taking the legs and swapping at the thigh cut with at the knee with a couple of other figures that seem to be working where they're putting on flat foot white boot characters. And I'm seeing that's where, and it seems to be a pretty easy fix if you want to change out the boots and still maintain the overall look. Let's see. I'm seeing that Gamerverse Cap and Venom in the corner. Mine hasn't been scheduled for shipping yet. Yes, you are. That is what that is. That is the Captain America Blue Venom It's 100%. You did spot it. You are right. That is what that is. Also, what's going on? Welcome to the show. I also received my Emma Frost and my cable. Man, what is going on? Everybody's getting their Emma Frosts and cables. Bill's been left out. Let's see. Bill, are you into Lord of the Rings? I don't want to say no, because there's things about it that I do like. But also, no. I know. So, I like Elder Scrolls mythology. That level. It's still high fantasy, but it's still like it's got that it has an edge to it. See? And I come from my introduction into things like Dungeons and Dragons and Barbarians and things like that, and those kinds of concepts came from Conan the Barbarian, low fantasy, or dark fantasy, or whatever you want to call it. High fantasy is Lord of the Rings. It's magic and mystical, and there's a lot of hope, and I know that the movie tries to make it look like there's darkness and everything, and that it's like kind of serious, but Lord of the Rings universe overall is a very hopeful, mystical, magical place. That's not really true in things like Elder Scrolls. Like if you play Elder Scrolls Online, they're constantly in turmoil with things like Oblivion and like the overworlds where Molag Bal is trying to drop the anchors to pull up the earths and things like that. And like even though they have things like elves and whatnot, they're still kind of getting over their baser human instincts. Like there is some real racism going on in terms of that mythology and things like that, where I don't like, sure, they kind of hint at it with Lord of the Rings, but in those movies it wasn't very hard to like bring everybody together, is what I'm saying. It's way harder in some of these other mythologies to get to people to work together. And that's somewhat intriguing to me, the dark nature and like just ugliness of humankind, and the ugliness of those universes makes it that much crazier to like see these kinds of adventures and things like that. There's something very visceral about all of that, and it's kind of almost unhopeful, if you want the truth of it. And that's kind of where the struggle is. It's a more savage-esque thing. Conan the Barbarian is kind of savage fantasy is what I'll call it. That's what I'll refer to it as. I think that kind of works. Lord of the Rings is very high fantasy. And I find myself at an impasse sometimes. Like I tried to play that Lord of the Rings online. I couldn't get into it. I tried to read Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to be honest with you. I got to a point where I felt like that guy loves the sound of his own voice. Like the way he writes very much feels like he's like, look at how great I am at writing. Watch me stretch this part out to an ungodly length. Let's talk about grass and hills and smoke and flowing pastures and like, oh, come on. I get it, okay? I get. Can we move past the original? Like in the movie, to put this into perspective, in the movie, the first 10 minutes of the movie is like over 100 pages of that first book in Lord of the Rings and the books. Like, just stop. It's too much. And I really did. I read about half that book and I was like, this is killing me. I would rather watch the movie. And in all honesty, I don't really love the movie. And then I tried to get into it because I had friends that were playing like Lord of the Rings online. So I tried to play that. And like, I couldn't. I don't know what it is. It never grabs my fancy 100%. I like elves, orcs, goblins, those kind of things. I like D&D and whatnot, but like I just like there to be a more savage edge to the universe. Like that's the way I feel those universes tend to work. And more high fantasy like Lord of the Rings, where it's very hopeful and there just happens to be one evil and they all kind of go deal with it. It just doesn't feel, it doesn't keep my attention as much as I guess what I'm getting into is what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like it has a true human edge, where like Conan the Barbarian, as you go through that story, the same people that he's friends with one day might be his enemies not but 2 years down the road due to the circumstances of life itself in the universe where they live. And that keeps me on edge and interested in that universe continually, where Lord of the Rings sometimes feels like they fixed it, now everybody's happy, and you don't have to worry about next week. Like, it just, I don't know, something about it has never quite gripped me the way it has other people. We are at 9 minutes. We are at 6 votes. So far, DC Multiverse is winning. There is one figure in the DC Multiverse. So once we get through that, we won't have another for a while, for a show or two at least, a couple of shows. I don't know the next one that's even supposed to come out. Maybe not till I get the Batman figures will that show come back. Will that line come back into rotation in our show? Who is favorite Superman? David wasn't bad, but Christopher is still my favorite. Christopher Reeve. Regardless of how old it makes me sound and how stuck on nostalgia it might make me seem, I don't think anybody has topped the sincerity of Christopher Reeve. Not even close. I do think that had Brandon had a chance, he could have done it. I really believe that. I think his line was cut horrifically short because he had a bad movie and they gave up. And I don't even think that movie was as bad as people make it. I just don't think it was anything great. Hey, Bill, are you getting Conan the Barbarian Battle of the Black? Yes. I pre-ordered the special edition, so I'm also getting all the weapons for all the characters of the other Robert E. Howard stuff as well. Bill doesn't like the Precious. No, I certainly do not. I pre-ordered them off Amazon, so I'm guessing that they got first shipment of figures for... It's very possible. It's very possible. Neat. I vastly prefer the world of Elder Scrolls, but that's part of the magic of those type of games. I wander off, get myself into some kind of magical shenanigans. Yes, I just went back to playing ESO after like a 2-3 year hiatus, actually. Like, I had to make a new character and everything because I could not remember how to play. DC Multiverse has won. You need this figure, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure Stump Wrestling A-Stuck. I seen him. I don't need him, but I even know what storyline that's from. I think I had that comic, actually. Have you seen the trailer for the new Wolverine game? No. I was told it was coming out. And I was told that this one looks like it's probably going to be good. But I did not see it. Well, let's do this. Hawk Girl. I've been looking forward to this one. So, just like I'm slowly trying to build Avengers for the shelf, and I actually might be at a point where I have an Avengers team, I feel like I'm one away. One. I don't have it yet, but I feel like I still kind of need to get... I want a Thor. It doesn't feel right to build an Avengers team. And I realize Avengers are so many different characters. It's kind of like Justice League. Like, really, come on. I would like a Hawkman. But Hawkgirl, to me, because of the era in which I grew up watching the Justice League cartoon, Hawkgirl does tend to feel right for the Justice League. So, I was very excited when they not only announced her, but they announced her in this color scheme. Like, there were two versions of her. This is the one I wanted. Right here. This is the color scheme I wanted, and I love it. I'm not sitting on high hopes. I'm not sitting on low hopes. If this figure turns out to be amazing, great. If it turns out to be not perfect, I don't think it's going to bother me that much. I'm going to be honest. I knew when I was buying her what I wanted. I wanted a Hawk Girl. And she's right here. And she's the colors I wanted. And she's the design I pretty much wanted. And she feels close enough to the animated series and close enough to the comic books that I could put her anywhere I want and she will work. Anywhere on that shelf back there, she'll work. She'll be perfect. And Hawkgirl kind of has a design about her that I could probably put her with classic characters or modern characters and she will work. She's kind of an interesting insert. I don't think I'm going to have any kind of real problems with her. I want a Hawkman. There's still some stuff that I haven't hunted down, and I don't know if I'm in a huge rush to do so. I'll get them when I get them. But this I knew I wanted. And I had this weird feeling about her, like she was going to fly off the shelves, and I was not going to get her. And that almost happened. I missed her in one wave, and then they did like a restock, and I picked her up. And I don't know if she's hard to find or easy to find at this point. I have no idea. I'm not looking for her anymore, so I'm not paying attention. So maybe I've really got something here. Maybe she's tough to get like that Wonder Woman. I don't know. And yes, I am still complaining about that Wonder Woman. You will hear me, so we're aware, you will hear me complain about that Wonder Woman until I either get one or he re-releases one that I want to buy, not one that's painted like a statue. I don't want statue Wonder Woman. I want the Wonder Woman he released that looked like the best possible Wonder Woman that I want that I can't get because it sold out so fast and never came back. And he refuses to use the sculpt again. He just keeps reusing the Gal Gadot body over and over and over. Stop it! We're nearing the end of this line. There's only so many more things that I want or care to hunt down. And then the looming question. When the line does go away and Mattel takes its place, will the Mattel figures be better? Should I have just waited? Or will the Mattel figures be worse? Or will they fit this happy medium where they're maybe not even as good as this, but still the right scale to fit in with all of that? I don't know. I don't know. And we won't for a while. So for right now, what I can get my hands on that I like, I take joy in. This line doesn't bother me like it seems to bother other people. I've seen some real people get defensive and talk about how they really don't like this. And part of it does come down to their scale and how they pretty much only scale with each other and then not necessarily even well on that argument sometimes. But like, it doesn't bother me the way it does other people. I'm getting DC figures, and I'm happy. I think I have her. I need Cyborg. If I'm going to build the Justice League from my childhood, the one that we grew up with in terms of cartoons, the only thing I'm missing now is Cyborg. I'm almost positive. And I think there are some readily available, easy to get my hands on Cyborg. Not necessarily ones that will look 100% right, because I think the easiest one to get might be the Flashpoint Cyborg. Is there a new Cyborg coming out? I don't know. I think he's all I have left after this. I have everybody else. I think he's all I need. Let's open her. Oh. And I need the Wonder Woman that I keep complaining about. So, even after her, I will not be able to form that Justice League because I need that Wonder Woman. I need it. Re-release her. And I would love to have a Starfire. I could probably make a whole episode about things that I didn't get from the McFarlane line that I want, that I feel like he should give me. Because I mowed something. But yeah, let's open this. Okay. Expression hands. A punching hand. A trigger finger hand. And then the figure itself already has a trigger finger hand, and one of the punching hands. Why? Is there just no gripping hand? Just a standard gripping hand that we can hold this with? Is there, like, what is going on? Why do we keep doing the trigger finger hand all the time? Whatever. So, we are dealing with McFarlane articulation, though the shoulders this time feel weird. I'm going to be honest. They do. Like he tried something new. See this? It's like they go up and down now, but there seems to be a bigger gap than I'm used to with the other figures that I've got. And you see how it kind of popped out there? Like, did he really get to the end of his line? The very end of his line and try something new? Because I don't remember my other figures doing this. If that has been a thing that they do, I am completely unaware of it. Because as of yet, none of them that I've reviewed on this channel, none of them that we have ever opened, none that we have ever talked about, have I experienced such dramatic difference. Like, there's a whole lot of movement here. And like I said, the shoulder like can pop up and down and kind of go like, it offers her a ridiculous range of motion. See, like even bringing her arm all the way in like this, she could literally cross her arms, which is not normal for a lot of figures in this price range. But like, it also creates a gap. See, like a very noticeable, I don't know how much I love that. Like, sure, you could pull that down and it tries to hide it. Or, I don't know. This does not feel like the arms that I have on the other figures. It really does feel like he did something different. I don't know if this was a thing that he was trying out, that he was just about to start getting going with his figures, that then he lost the license and was like, well, screw it. You know what I mean? Or if this is unique to her. But if it is, why her? It's weird. It's very weird. I don't understand it. Otherwise, we're looking at standard Todd McFarlane stuff. Look, you got the elbows, you're not going to hurt there. And you got the legs, and you're not going to hurt there. And yes, she can bring her legs all the way up. And yes, she has the diaper thing. And yes, we expect that. But these wings are nice. That is a crazy good wingspan. I like that. They can go back. She could do one forward. How much movement can we get? Can we wrap this around her front? We can. We can wrap that around her front and create dynamic attacks where she's coming down with one wing back and one wing up or whatever. Like, I gotta hand it to him. For simple, because this is very simple, okay? It's on a ball joint right here. That's it, all right? And then this just goes up and down. Like, it doesn't go forward or back. It doesn't swing. But that right there is enough movement that she can tuck the wings and stand natural. She can fly with them fully out. She can fly with them up and out. She can fly with them back. She can fly where they're both gone down and they're currently flapping. Like I said, she can roll one to her front to protect herself or attack. She could put one back and one to a different direction. Like, look, I'm going to give it to you, McFarlane. You got a ridiculous amount of range out of those wings. That is impressive. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. The winged characters that I've got from Mattel, they don't act like this. Their wings are kind of trash. Like, either they're just very cheap and they go whoop and that's it, or they have like one joint that kind of moves and the rest doesn't really do anything for you. This is good. On a figure in the price range that this exists, those are terrific wings. Could they have been better? Sure. Let's all complain about what could have always been better. But if I'm being perfectly honest here, I don't know if I would have asked for too much. This would be good wing design on a Marvel Legend. Very simple for like Angel. I mean, we got those really, really good wings right now. On the last Angel figure that we got, and the Archangel, if I'm not mistaken, got a really good wing design, so, like, I'm not crying about that. I'm just saying that, like, you gotta hand it to him. He did it, man. Those wings are fantastic. And what is the major selling point of this character? Her wings. If he had screwed up the wings, I don't know, this probably would have been terrible. I think I know what's going on with the arms. It just hit me. I think he had to change the arm. So look, this is where the wing is, right here. And it goes in, and it's on a ball joint that allows it to turn, and it gives it all that movement. Back, and then, of course, if you turn it this way and whatnot, like all this level of movement, right? I think because of this, that's what's going on with the arm. I think that this joint here was impeding on that in there, and I think they changed the way the arms work for this one character, because you can even see in here, like where it opens, you see what I'm saying? I think he got the wings to work, and for this character that's really important. And I think to do it, I'm serious about this, I think they sacrificed the arm movement that they've been getting from all the others. That's what it looks like. That is crazy, by the way. Look at how much they opened that up. Is that normal for any of the others that we've seen? She has a lot of forward crunch. Dude. She can literally fly into the sky with one of these, where you got the one leg up and everything, and it comes down and it flips around, and then we can open the wings out to create that, like, dynamic flying into the sky kind of thing. Like, dude, that's crazy. We can turn her body as if she's... Dude. All right, McFarlane. You gotta wait till the end of the line to show off, man? Come on! Wow. I'm impressed. That really surprises me. That's good. You did a good figure, man. I like the helmet. I don't think it's going to blow anybody's mind or anything like that. I did hear some people complaining that it's not, that I guess the helmet is not accurate to the artwork on the back of the box or whatever and things like that. Whatever. Come on, guys. Are we really still under the impression that that was ever going to change? That we were going to match the artwork on the box? Be glad she's a good figure regardless. But here's the thing. This character, and this may surprise some people, she flies. Like with wings. Where's the flight stand? And maybe you could argue the flight stand wouldn't have held her because the wings are heavy. Give it to me anyway. Give me the flight stand. Why are we always trying to avoid the flight stand on characters that desperately need it? She has the ball joint feet. We could complain. I said that she has the stupid hand, which is actually meant for trigger fingers, but like, I mean, it holds the mace. It's not giving me any troubles. It holds it really tight. One could argue that it's not perfect for this hand, because as you can see, it's got a little bit of a, and you can kind of push it in there, but not really. But she's good. I mean, she's good, man. I'm going to give it to him. At the end of the line, he has managed to release multiple figures that I not only want, but I even praise. It's like he's trying to say we'll miss him when he's gone. Maybe we will. I don't know. Hawk Girl. Solid figure. One of his best, I would argue. I really would. Let me set the next thing up here. And then we will go to the chat. Okay. I almost did something. That would have been confusing. Bam. So I looked over here for a second, right? And I was about to put Marvel Legends, and I almost put Marvel vs. Capcom. We need a reaction video from Bill for the Wolverine game. I will come back and give my thoughts on it, but I don't know if I'll do a reaction. I don't know. We'll see. It's not that I haven't done them on here before, but I'm not really big on doing a lot of reaction videos because sometimes it makes me feel like I'm stealing somebody's content. I know for trailers and stuff like that, that's not necessarily true, and they kind of want it anyway because they want you to spread the trailers around. But you get the idea. It kind of feels weird to me sometimes. Hey, what's going on, man? I don't remember Hawk Girl screeching ever. Does she do that in the comics? I want to be honest. I do not remember her screeching in the comics. Like, I'm running in circles here in my mind, trying to remember if I ever remember that happening. I don't remember her screeching. I don't remember that. I remember in the cartoon, she would roar. She would give off battle cries all the time, but not screeches. Like, I remember she would fly and be like, ah, ah, because she was just this, she was a badass chick, right? Like, she'd just lay it down. She didn't have like a little girly battle crier either, too. She'd like come out swinging, and she had this like, almost like, it was like a low, visceral, ah, just bow, and she'd knock something out with that nth metal. Like, I don't remember screeches. I don't remember that. If that happened, it was in comic books I did not read. I'm not saying that it didn't, because comic books are vast, and it's not like I didn't read Hawk Girl's standalone book or anything like that. And when she did show up, she very much showed up as like afterthoughts in other books, never a main focus. So like, I don't know. I don't know why she does that. I agree, Hawk Girl feels right and brings a balance of females in the group. Right. Yeah. I think it's cool. It is often that a Justice League will have one girl in it. It was nice to have 2 or 3 at any given time and kind of create more dynamic in the group. Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, it's pretty inexcusable of Todd to not utilize that body again. It's a pretty good Wonder Woman. I don't personally own it, but my dad has it. Awesome. Wasn't Cyborg a more recent addition to the Justice League? I guess I would say define recent, because really since the New 52, he's kind of been stuck into the Justice League. And I'll be honest, he feels right in the Justice League. Like, personally, with me, I would, and I know some people are very much disagreeing with this because they live in the nostalgia they live in, and I get that. I would put him in the Justice League before I would put him in the Titans. And I know how that sounds, because I know people, they associate him with the Titans, and I get it. But to me, the Titans are like sidekick heroes that come together that form a group. That's what they feel like. You could put Batgirl in there, and it would not bother me. She's never the main thing. You could put a Robin in there, a Nightwing in there. It doesn't feel like that's a main attraction to a team. But Cyborg has changed dramatically over the years as the world we live in has changed dramatically over the years. And technology being his power, he is ridiculously powerful and getting more so broken every single year that technology moves us forward. Like, it is unreasonable, some of what he can do and the power sets that he has been given now. He would actually be a threat to most of the Justice League by himself. And that's saying a lot. Oh, we have, we're only 5 minutes in. We got 7 votes. So far, Origins and Legends is tied. How do you do, fellow kidults? Trigger finger? Sir, this is McFarlane. That's a coming. Okay. Touche. Touche. I never called it that. I may have to try to remember that. Trigger finger hand when you want to shoot your mace. That shoulder looks dislocated. Right, it's a little jarring. 9 out of 10 dentists agree. The wings are better than NECA gargoyle wings. Oh, man. Those NECA figures, like, I like gargoyles for what they're worth. And I almost wish I was a big enough fan of gargoyles to buy some of those gargoyle figures, because they really do look fantastic. But those wings on the gargoyles, I agree. I was looking at them, and they seem to be the weakest part of those gargoyle figures. Very good on the wings, and seems like everybody was agreeing he did a fantastic job on those wings. Those wings at least looked better than King Spawn figure I had that only had a single peg each. Right. King Spawn was disappointing. That's a shame. I don't think I've bought a Spawn figure in... I may have been like 17 the last time I bought a Spawn figure. While I'm happy that I got it, I've heard that it's not accurate to the comics. It's also odd that the figure came with guns instead. I just ended up giving those guns to Commando Spawn. Oh! Oh, you're talking about King Spawn. Okay, I was like... But I know, yeah. It's true, King Spawn had a cape. Only ever recent covers, some scenes where he has wings. But yeah, okay. Todd has his ups and downs, hits and misses. But when he hits good. I agree with you. The Hawkgirl action figure should have come with a flight stand. Bill, I think we El Diablo figure... A El Diablo figure from the Suicide Squad movie. That character is really cool. Oh! Oh, okay, okay. Thanks for playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We'll know soon. So we have 2 winners here. So I'm going to split them the way I have every other time. Or at least lately, anyway. Okay, so we are offering... That's one possibility. The other is... And then we have... And then off of that... What is this? Oh, okay. Let's see. Right. I figured that out after yeah. That reminds me. Why is he calling the new movie King Spawn? Just call it Spawn. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And I don't think he has enough groundwork to jump directly into King Spawn. Most people don't know Spawn to begin with. You almost have no choice but to run Spawn first. Like, to get a movie out there, and I know he's already got a movie, but you need to build an audience to move into. It almost feels like he's trying to jump too far ahead, if that's the idea. It's been a minute. The making says 2014. I don't like it when people delay their projects for far too long. They usually end up disappointing everyone. Yes. Yes, that is definitely a thing. Oh my gosh. I was not expecting that. 6 votes have split the entirety already. We're looking at the Cap Venom, JJJ, and the Evil Horde all at 33 right now. Let me see here. Oh, we are at, by the information that I can look at, we're sitting at 6 viewers. That's 6 viewers. That's 6 votes. Okay. Okay. Let's do them. Let's do them. Screw it. Okay? Let's go. J. Jonah Jameson. I was under the impression I would never own this. Look, some characters come out and you're in a certain state of mind and you don't feel like you need or want them. Okay. That's where I was. They released J. Jonah Jameson. And I said, I don't really need a J. Like, what am I going to do with JJ? Really? Then, my attitude changed over the years. And I started becoming a little more open with how much I pick up. And I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, I think this was a change in living in an apartment and moving to my house. I really think that was a big part of it. Because when I was living in my apartment, I knew that I had the room that I had, and that was it, and it wasn't going to get any better. And there was nothing I could do to create space. So, my problem was that I needed to be very careful about what I bought. I like all Spider-Man stuff, but did I really, what was I going to do with him? Then I move into the house. I get the garage. I open up a small little studio area in my garage, and I start doing some action figure photography. And it dawns on me, would be cool to have a J. Jonah Jameson. So I go looking for him. I now have a specific collection room. I have the garage. I'm doing pictures. Things are seeming right. I've expanded my collection. I've gotten rid of a lot of things too, to be fair. But I go looking for him, and his price is not for me. Made the argument many times. $20 spent here is $20 you can't spend there. And it gets to a point sometimes where you're wondering, okay, well, I just spent this much. I just bought these things. This is out. I really want it, but I would have to be stupid to do it because I only have the money I have. So you walk away. And time again, I kept finding Jonah Jameson too expensive when I could spend the same amount of money and pick up 2 or 3 Marvel Legends that are out right now. And what do? Do you get the old one that you want because you do really want that? Or do you say, okay, well, look, it is the way it is. I can't really do that right now. And there's still a lot of characters I'm missing. And that was the truth of it. So I kept walking away from him. Then I wanted him. And I felt like it was a very big possibility that I could buy him. And I started looking. And all of a sudden, there was a different obstacle in my way. As JJ would sometimes cost as much or more than a barbarian figure. Like a big barbarian figure. I could be like, hey, I could spend $90-something over here and get a really cool barbarian, or $120 and get JJ Marvel Legends. I'm not doing that. Then they did this. And they re-released almost this entire wave. So far, I've been able to get the Rhino. I've got JJ. And there are other things I want from this line, like, that are out there now. I mean, now I can get a Mysterio. Now I can get a Sandman, which I don't have a Sandman. Like, there's... Oh, and it would be so cool if they would release that Black Cat again. And it doesn't look like it's impossible. I'm going to wait and see. Because now that this is happening, like, there's a lot of real possibilities here. Possibilities that mark them at prices that make a lot more sense as well. Because, like, this is real, and it's manageable. I may have a slight problem with him. We're going to figure that out as soon as we open him. Let's do it. Okay, so I was right. My problem is his paper. It looks cool. It is cool. That's cool. I was hoping that since we'd entered a new era where, like, they were doing the comic book collection characters that come with a little comic book and it's like a solid piece of plastic with a print on it, I was hoping they would redo this so it would be solid. This is a very flimsy, little tiny piece of paper. I'm going to have to be very careful with this. Or I'm just going to have to cut my losses, glue this back part onto a plastic piece to make it what I want it to be. Or maybe I could find a way to laminate this tiny little thing. I don't know. This is a problem. I don't know what to do with it yet. I'm going to have to be very careful with it. Otherwise, he comes with a rolled up paper. He comes with a punch hand, a grip hand for that paper, another grip hand for that paper, and a pointing hand, which we definitely need. We definitely need a point hand, and we're going to put it on him right now. There. I'm not gonna have him without this pointing finger, this, like, finger of absolute, now you listen here, piece of garbage. Like, oh, he's good. Simple, but good. He doesn't need to be anything else than this. This guy will work. He has single joints here, but he's a J. Jonah Jameson, and I don't think I need him taking, like, super dynamic poses or anything like that. So there we go, right? I'm not having any problems with that. Put this rolled up Daily Bugle in his hands. There it is. He has this vest, which the vest can come off. I don't think it needs to come off. I think it's fine, but if you wanted to take it off, he could just have the business suit. I like that his tie is not perfect. It's flailing because he's always like angry and always screaming and always moving. Otherwise, he's got a good turn here. He has an ab crunch that is a really good ab crunch. He can look up to the sky and scream about it, okay? Look at that. Dude, this guy is going to be awesome. Like, and he's got a decent likeness. Simple, but a decent likeness. He really does. He'll work. He's very simple, but he'll work. I don't know if I really have anything else to say about him. Oh. Great. He will sit. I guess I didn't expect anything less. He's a Marvel Legends, and they're pretty good about that. He will sit. That's going to be important because I'm going to be building a small little newsroom for this guy to hang out in. And I'm very serious about that. I am going to do that. I'm working on it already. I'm kind of renovating a small part to kind of play around with creating a small office space for him inside of the Batman diorama that I got. And there just happens to be a chair in that diorama. Otherwise, he has these awful feet. I really hate the business suit feet that they give these characters. I mean, they're awful. They're so bad, and they're really hard to get these guys to stand sometimes because they'll literally, like, their feet don't want to work. Okay, I got him. I know you can't see it, but I got him, so I'm happy with that. If I can get him to stand, and I can get him to move and everything, and he moves better than some other female Marvel Legends I've bought, which is irritating. He's good. He's good. I have no reason to dislike him. I have J. Jonah Jameson, and he's good. He's good. I'm happy with him. Impressed, even, if you want the truth of it. And I kind of look forward to seeing what I can do in terms of little skits and whatnot. Like seeing what I can get away with, because he's pretty awesome. So we'll see what I can do. We'll see what I figure out about that paper. Now, we're going to go back. Meat! I'll send you a big box of Christmas meat. Best I can do. Get out of here. You get any more pictures of that wall-crawling clown? I'll take them off your hands. See, I picked up the movie version of JJ for $15. I thought about that when I was looking for Jonah Jameson, and I kept saying, well, maybe if I can't get this comic book one, but I really wanted this one. This is what I absolutely wanted. At this point, they would have to release something crazy to get me to get another. Like, I don't see it happening. Hey, Bill, did you see the Marvel Comics Mafex Gambit? I did. I don't really buy Mafex. It's very rare. I don't hate Mafex, but it's very rare, and I don't have a personal reason to buy him when I could literally strip the coat off one of the Marvel Legends and make my own, and it wouldn't be all that hard with all the Jedi robes and stuff that are sitting around everywhere. I want that. I think I'm going to save up for it. I do think he looks cool. I don't call out anybody for going after him. He looks like a very solid figure. He needs a chair. He'll have one. You got two options. One, you can go to a print shop and they can usually laminate the paper, which I might do is get that tiny little thing laminated. Or two, pick up HD clear shipping tape and coat it with it. The size it is, you could use one piece for each side. What? No desk. He'll have a desk. I have a desk. I have a phone. Like, that Batman thing is going to work. I'm telling you. I can do this. He doesn't want to be famous, and I'll make him infamous. That's the only thing he's missing. If they would have given him an extra head so he could smoke. Oh, yes. Or since his mouth is open, if they'd have given him a cigar that was just big enough so that like had the teeth marks and you could push it into the little area, and that would have been cool too. He can't smoke. That's the only thing that I feel like I'm missing with him. That would have been sick. That would have been so cool. I get to open a Motu. I get to open a Motu. Yes. I don't care, guys. Motu does not win votes here very often. When I get a chance, I'm excited for it. This one I've been waiting for a very long, very, very long time for a very specific reason. And I'm glad that I'm opening them now because we're getting awfully close to the release of something. The Evil Horde 2-pack. Right here. Here it is. Motu Origins. Why did I buy this? I bought this because there is a line coming out, I believe, called Eternal Champions. I think that's the name of it. It's from Epic Hacks, Boss Fight Studio, and their first wave is doing a Skeleton, a Red Sonja, and a Conan the Barbarian. Built like these. They are in 5.5 scale, and they are built almost exactly with these proportions in mind. They will scale and work almost perfectly with Motu Origins. They're pretty expensive figures. I'm not going to lie about that. But I don't care because it's a Red Sonja like this that looks good, a Conan like this that looks good, and a really good Skeleton. I paid for them. What can I say? I paid for them. I'm looking forward to them. And before they get here, it is cool to have a couple of Barbarian-esque figures that are interchangeable for different concepts. If I want to get pictures and whatnot. And one of the things that came to mind was this pack. I found this pack for only $16 at a Target, and they were like, please take it. And I was like, don't mind if I do. Because two reasons. One, this guy here, very basic. Very basic. He could fit any little warlord status guy. I'll be able to use him in whatever picture I want, and I don't have to get too crazy about what he is. And this very much fits two criteria. One, animal monster-esque man. Simple, you see it in all kinds of Conan material. Two, he's an elephant head man. He's an elephant head man. He comes with an elephant head. And if I do my cards right with just him, or if I take the head off and put it on somebody else and really get the setup correct, I can remake Tower of the Elephant, a scene from Tower of the Elephant, where I can have Conan walking in, stopping abruptly, where fear grips his heart at the first thing he has ever saw that is completely unexplainable. I mean, this was like the first book where he really saw something that he couldn't explain away. He couldn't say this was a dream, I hallucinated, I think years ago I may have seen a thing. No, he saw Yagkasha. And it was a man, a slender-like man, chained to a wall with an elephant's head. And it froze the barbarian's heart. That's another thing I love about Conan the Barbarian. He's not just... I hate it when people take the cliche and think he's this, like, fearless warrior guy. No. The books and the comics talk about it constantly. When he sees things that are supernatural, there are times when he freezes in place, just like everybody else, where something is so scary, so fearful, so beyond the regular, so above his level of understanding that it freezes his heart. That for a moment, the superstition takes him over and he doesn't know how to react. That's real human response. That's fight, flight, freeze. And every now and then, it hits him when he sees something he cannot get by. At first he thought it was a statue. Then, as he approached a little more in the dim light, it moved. And he realized what he was looking at was a thing. And it was not just a man wearing an animal head. That was its head. And then it spoke to him. That, dude, Tower of the Elephant is so good. And I can recreate that scene just with this. You could argue, because he has to be kind of green and he has to have a longer trunk. Shut up. It was a book. It was a book. And Robert always explained things just enough that you got a mental image of what was going on and you filled in the blanks. And you could argue that with the right setup, I could do it. He's the reason I bought this. I want that Elephant Man. This pack is awesome. Just for that alone. Just for what it makes me remember, what it makes me feel. And that's one of the biggest things about collecting. It's capitalizing on those experiences and building something. Our collections are a museum to ourselves. And this guy being on the shelf, some people will think, oh, that's cool. It's like a Motu thing. Not for me, it isn't. It's bigger than that. Let's open him. Okay, first guy. Him. That's Hordak right there. He's just got kind of a evil face right here. He's got red eyes. He's fine. He's got the black armor, which the black armor is kind of cool. I like that he has this, and it's not overly complicated. This is very much like a thing that, like, if a dude that lost his hand, barbarian type things, you could believe that he just, like, put that on his arm, that he turned a disadvantage into a weapon or whatever. And you could make up any story you wanted to explain that. Otherwise, his colors are solid. There's really not too much to him. Mine has some paint scuffing, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. I can, either fix that, to be fair, or I can leave it on there almost like a blood stain, because it's red, so it'll kind of work, and that doesn't bother me. His boots are kind of different than other characters that we've had in the line. He does stand out, and he looks fairly unique to a lot of the other figures. So this guy right here, pretty solid. Like, he's good. That's a good figure. That's pretty cool. It's very simple, but it'll do exactly what I need him to do. This guy, getting a look at him now, he's definitely one of those things, like I was saying, I'm gonna have to take this off, or modify him, maybe change his feet and things like that, because right now I think these feet will not work. If I do that picture and you see these like robot feet, I don't think that they'll work for him. I think it would be awkward But otherwise, I like his armor here, and they're very simple too. There's these little, they just kind of clip on, so you could change these to any of the other barbarians that we currently have in the line, and it will work. Otherwise, I like that. That's good, and that's a really good. That's solid. Look at that. That's cool. That's tough looking. Does this? No. Very simple. Very cool. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with this. I think that this literally turned out to be basically what I need. I'll make mild modifications to either this body or one of the many other bodies that I already have, because, I mean, how many He-Man can you buy? And I'll flip this head, and maybe, you know, I think they talk about him having a green tint. I could use that trap jaw that's like a yellowish green. And with the correct lighting, I think this is good. I think this is going to work. Now I just got to wait for that Conan to show up. Oh, and for what it's worth, just because, I mean, we're here, these are the weapons. He has Terror Claws. They're kind of cool. I don't know what I'd honestly do realistically. But they're there, and they're cool. They are a part of the figure. I may as well mention them. This is solid. He's very simple. Both these characters are very cool, very simple. I can understand why the pack wasn't selling, if I'm being perfectly honest. I have another reason altogether that I want them. Somebody that might just be looking for Motu figures, they may be too simple and too removed from the normal stuff that people are hunting for, and it doesn't exactly scream barbarian to them in the way that they want it to. I could see that. I could very much understand that. Added to the shelf. I like them. Let's see. Needs a JJ Spider-Man. Let's see. Dude. Horse is going to be... I can't wait to get that horse, by the way. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. I can't wait to get that horse, by the way. Let's see. Hey, Bill, do you watch YouTuber Mr. Home Arcade? I used to. When I first got involved with this Toy Network group for a little while, and I was appearing on a couple of their shows, I watched a couple of his things. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't take too long before, like, I started getting annoyed. Like, I think it's because some of the stuff that I see him do, I laugh and I have fun with it. Other things I see him do, I just start getting annoyed really fast. Like, everything he does is, like, screaming. And I get that that's, like, the gimmick, that's the joke. But that's just like years ago when I used to watch Action Figure Therapy. Whenever a Sarge video would come out, halfway through the video, I was just tired of hearing the guy yell. That happens to me a lot with Mr. Home Arcade, because I like him, and I've enjoyed most of what I've seen him do, but every now and then, I just can't handle him. So yes, I do know who he is, and that's my honest opinion of him. I honestly do think he does a fantastic show. I do think he's funny. I do think he's actually a cool guy, too, by the way, when he shows up in chats and whatnot and talks to people and everything. I've never seen that guy be disrespectful or be a punk ass or anything like that. He's a cool dude. Literally, he is. And I've seen him go into other people's streams and whatnot and, like, buy memberships and whatnot for people. That dude is a cool dude. But his gimmick, sometimes I can't handle it. Everybody's gangsta till they see that elephant man. I don't know if you saw my comment or not, but did you see the Mondo 2000X He-Man? It's a 1/12 figure. 1/12 scale. It's a good scale, right? It's He-Man. Looks to be incredibly detailed, nicely painted, soft goods, faux fur. So much about it looks win. Let me tell you something. I don't want to, but I'm pretty sure I'm passing on it. You are talking about entering a world where Mondo does where Mondo does Motu figures. In 1/12 scale and charges over $100 a figure. Isn't that He-Man like $115? Motu is not a small thing. Like, let's at least be honest about the situation. I'm passing on this He-Man. I'm passing on Clawful. They're cool, but I'm passing on them. They're very expensive. Right now, I don't have it in me to spend that on Motu. I have it in me to spend on Conan. But those are two very different ideas to me. But after the debacle of She-Ra, if they release a solid She-Ra or a solid Teela at that scale, in that design, with that level of detail, that much love and attention, while I can walk past He-Man and say, I've got good He-Man figures on the shelf, and I don't know the next time I will need to or want to update them, I can do that. And I know people love the 2000X series. I have attempted to watch it multiple times. I keep getting about halfway through season 1, and I keep getting bored with it. I don't know why. I can't seem to watch it. I don't know if it's just the overall designs, the aesthetic, the voice acting, the storyline, what it is. I don't know. It doesn't speak to me the same way it does so many other people. I am not a diehard fan of that part of the legacy. I can walk past a He-Man, and I will not lose sleep over it. Maybe had they started this line with a He-Man, they may have got me. 2000X He-Man, whatever. I don't care. I don't dislike him, but I'm not tripping over myself to go after him. But if they show Teela, and she has that level of care, you might get me. They might get me. I don't know. Yeah, it's for the special edition. It's $115. That's not including the tariff surcharge and shipping and tax, for that matter. Yeah. I don't know. This first one I'm passing on. But I'm not saying they couldn't get me. I'm saying that for this, I can walk past this. Are you excited for Mattel doing DC characters in 5.5 He-Man universe? What? Did they announce that? Did I miss that? I didn't see anything on socials or anything today. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised that people, like a lot of people don't seem to follow me on like, on Instagram or whatever, so like nobody really sends me any of this stuff. If that's a real thing, I didn't know about it. Now, circle back to that. Do I want 5.5 Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman? I don't think I do. I guess it would depend. If you're talking about the crossover stuff, like right now we've had Thundercats, which I really like those Thundercats. And we've had the Turtles, which I like some of those Turtles. And whatnot. And now we have Transformers, because of course we do, whatever. But if they announce that they're going to do DC Motu, you might catch my attention. Because they did share a comic universe. So there would be something cool to that idea. And I think they would be fairly affordable figures. And looking at the way they did the Thundercats, they would probably do them some justice. No, they did announce that, but most likely it's going to happen since they're getting the DC license. Ah! You just made me feel stupid. Like, stupid. I cannot believe that it didn't dawn on me for even a second that Mattel, the same guys doing the Motu 5.5 line, were the guys that were about to own the DC license and they could do whatever they wanted with it now. And it never once crossed my mind. Wow. I feel almost stupid that never once crossed my mind. Not even one time. We will need him. We will need him. Let's do it. Let's run the final figure of the night here. I know, a little earlier than normal. I'm only trying to get these at 2 hours until I can get myself back onto an editing schedule that works. Trying to figure out homework and everything else for my kid and getting everything settled in and whatnot. It's a little different than I was expecting, but we're figuring it out. Okay. Woo! Here we go. Marvel versus Capcom. I don't care, that's what it is. Gamerverse. Captain America, Venom. This could be a big deal. Could be. Could also be not what I'm looking forward to. There's two things about this that bring questions. Very important. One, does this stand on its own? Does it stand on its own in a way that I put it on the shelf and I don't lose anything? I only gain. Two, do I put this on the shelf and come to find out that this no longer does it for me? And just how much better is the Venom than this? Or not at all? I don't know. I really don't. The thing about my show is normally when I buy something, I cut ties with looking at anything. I'll see that people will post pictures and whatnot, and they'll say things like, oh, I got this and I got that and blah, blah, blah. And oh, we've done reviews and yada, yada. I won't watch any of those reviews. When I come in here, I'm going to say 90% of the time, not that it doesn't happen from time to time, but 90% of the time, this is the first time I am opening them, the first time I am seeing them, the reviews. Maybe I've heard some complaints here and there, but the reviews have not influenced the way that I feel about it. This is my first time seeing this up close, in person, my first time checking it out, my first time giving a reaction, my first time figuring out whether or not I care about it, and whether or not something actually works for me. That being said, I waited a long time for what I felt was the perfect Captain America. I really did. At first, I almost bought that, I think it was like an 80th anniversary or whatever, of Captain America. I kind of wanted that. I really thought that that looked good, and I was on track to buy it when they announced a Secret Wars Captain America. And I said I would miss out on certain things, but I would still get a really good Captain America, and I think that he still follows the basic principles of what I want. And he kind of fits into another wave, and I can buy him, and he won't cost me $85. Okay. So I got that Captain America right there. And I like that Captain America a lot. He's pretty much exactly what I wanted. I love the fact that this is actually etched in. He has the scale mail, which I always thought was really cool with Captain America. I like the scale mail. He has the face that I want. He got the fingers and everything, the hands that I wanted. He got the broken shield. We complained about that. We really did. We already did that. Otherwise, he's got the cuffed boots. Everything about him is spot on. I love him. He was the Captain America for my shelf. The only other Captain America I've put on the shelf, right there, is Ultimate Captain America. And he only made the cut to be on the shelf alongside the other Captain America because I felt he was different enough and he was part of my childhood in a very specific way. When they did the Ultimates universe, I actually liked a lot of what I saw in the Ultimates universe at the time. It was in the 2000s. I was growing up. I felt like a lot of the characters didn't make sense in terms of their origins or their attitudes anymore, and some of them were impossible to keep up with. I had my problems with the Marvel Universe. And they said, what if we grew it up? What if we made something that looks like it more fits the modern ideas, and we played around with certain stories? And at first, they set ground rules that said, these are the powers, this is what they can do, they can't do anything else, and they can't break those rules to like win fights that they couldn't really win. I liked that. Not that they held to that principle, but at first it felt like that. It felt like they were really holding on to, this is the universe, these are the rules, this is what they can do, this is what they can't do, this is what would have to happen to be able to allow this and this. Because like when they fought Magneto, they got wrecked. The Avengers were not ready to deal with that problem. Not in the way that it happened. And I loved Captain America and his attitude at first. I really did. So I felt like that Captain America held enough difference and interest in my life and the way that I felt about certain things that having both of them on the shelf was not a problem. I am not the kind of person that likes to have, except for Spider-Man, I'm not the kind of person that likes to have all these characters on the shelf a repeat. I don't like that. I'm not that guy. It's not a thing for me. I like to have a Captain America, an Iron Man, a Hulk. It's the way I like to be. Now I'm about to put a third Captain America on the shelf. Is this Captain America going to be so good that he basically makes this one irrelevant and this one will leave the shelf? I don't know. It's a very real possibility, though. And then I have questions for the Venom. How much of an update is he? Is he just blue? Or is he an update to what I have? I didn't say an update for the entirety of the line because I know every single Venom that's ever been released. To the one that I have, is he an update? I don't know. Those are my concerns and my interests. And we've talked all about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and how much of a big deal it was to me. That's what these are based on. Let's see them. Okay, let's do it. Here's Captain America right here. He only has one head portrait, and it's a very stern, very serious Captain America. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. His other portrait is also pretty serious. It's a screaming head, and it's actually pretty good. He does not smile, but the blues look... Okay, so they're not the same blue. Okay, they're not the same blue. But I don't know if you would have a problem putting that head on him. So the two heads that I have from this Captain America seem like they'll be decently interchangeable. There'll be a little bit of notice. This is a lighter blue, this is a darker blue, but at least to my eyes, it feels like it would be able to trick you just enough to kind of get over it. Okay. So, interchangeable heads. Deep butterflies. You could bring those arms in. Deep butterflies going back. That's cool. We have the star with the hole in the back. We've talked about the hole in the back before and what that might be, like why that's there and whatnot. Decent ab crunch going down, but nothing too extreme. He's almost too buff for his own good. But he can look back quite a bit. He can stretch back. His head looks way up. His head looks way down. He does have the double elbow, but his cuffs and his bicep are so hardcore, they actually get in his way. Like, this is it. This is the extent right here. Deal breaker? No. No. I would almost say believable. You're going to make him more buff, more buff, more buff. And I guess that's a real question. He had better arm movement. Not by much, but by enough that it's noticeable that his arms must be the littlest bit bigger. They almost have to be, right? I know his chest and everything. Unless I am imagining it, he is bigger. I think he may be sporting close to the same legs. Close. But his chest is bigger. His body is bigger. His arms are bigger. I think it is actually noticeable. He's a bigger dude. Not too much. Not too much that it's off throwing, though. He's got a fantastic shield. He's got a complete shield. I know this is a small thing. To me, it's not a small thing, okay? For everybody, somebody, this is their first figure. Their first Captain America. If you want to release a broken shield, that's fine. Do not release a broken shield without this as an option in the box. People, this is one of the biggest things of all Captain America. We need it. It needs to be there, okay? I've actually been over this before. I have a video specifically talking about this. I have 2 or 3 videos that bring this up. This is important. I like this. That head sculpt, I don't know if they just got that seriousness so perfect, but I mean, I like that head sculpt a lot. Like, a lot. I like this head sculpt a lot. I'm actually impressed with both the head sculpts. Very, very impressed. And I know by the articulation that I'm seeing, I'm going to have no problems. I don't know. I don't want to. I like the scale mail. But if that's all he's got going for him, right? Man, this guy might have you beat. He might have you beat to the fact that you're coming off the shelf. I think that darker blue really works. You got a broken shield. I know that's your gimmick, but like, you've got a perfect shield. I wonder if you just became parts, man. He could also become a present. I know somebody that likes Captain America a lot. And if I'm going to get rid of him, it might make sense to give him away. Because this guy right here, he doesn't have my favorite armor feature across the top, but I mean, this dude is really good. Good enough that he may have just become my definitive Captain America. And not like, oh, I got a new shiny Captain America, so he's the better one. Like, dude, this guy feels good. I don't really know how else to tell you that. Like, he just really does, man. He feels really good. And that's kind of hard to explain if you're not, the one controlling him or whatever. But like, look at how easy that is, right? And those butterflies, they do a lot because he can bring that arm back and whatnot when he's running and everything. And he comes with this, which is a very simple effect. But, and pardon, because I'm gonna say it, it's very effective. Look at that. Like where he can actually, like, he can do the stars and stripes. He can put both of his hands into this and then bring his head down and then go into that running charge. I don't think it's very hard to do either. Bring that up, bring his body in. There. Real-time, simple posing. Or you can bring that up, probably. Where you do something along the lines of this. Kind of, maybe you bring these in like this, kind of go up with it. Bam! Like, you could do 1,000 things with this. You could have the Hulk punch the shield and, like, that aura come off of it because he's getting hit so hard. Like, you can have him wreck into somebody. This is a very simple effect. But I'm going to do it again. It's very effective. I'm impressed. That's a very good Captain America. As of now, he is probably the best Captain America on the shelf. The only thing he's missing is some extra hands, like he doesn't have the salute hand. He only has thumbs up and punching. That's it. Thumbs up, both sides, and punching. But he is really cool. Like, oh, and I love that effect. That he can wear the shield. That's cool. He's good. He might. I think he is. I think everything's said and done. This guy, I'm probably going to give his hands to that Captain America. Maybe I'll swap over one of the heads. And then this guy, he's off the shelf. I really think he just lost his place. I think you're gone. And you weren't there for very long either. You are a good Captain America. You really are. But, like, he's just got you beat so bad, man. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Psychopath Eddie. I've seen some people, rather, not seen, but I've heard, because I've heard this complaint a couple times now, where people are saying that they're repainting the face. I don't know. I think I like that face. I really do. I think I like that face. Okay, that's a cool effect. I wasn't expecting that. So first off, we have this head right here, which I actually like this. I like this quite a bit. I think the effect is very well done. And I think that all in all, that's a good head sculpt. I really do. Maybe some people don't like it, but I really feel like you could see it. It almost looks like he's got like the bad eyes and whatnot because he's just tired and worn out, and the symbiote's kind of taking complete control. I didn't know how I would feel about the blue. I'm going to be very honest about that. I was under the impression that I probably would not like the blue. That I had this feeling that the blue would clash because the way that I see Venom is solid black. I always do. It's just the way that I've always looked at it. But it doesn't feel like this is bad at all. And I don't think this is a reuse of the head either. It is not a jaw that you can articulate. But I noticed something. Something pretty mild, but really cool too. See his head? The tongue? It's got that green crap coming off of his tongue. That's a pretty cool effect because when they do him blue in video games and other things like that, they often do that with the tongue. They give him like a green drool or saliva or whatever that is, like that gross crap that comes out of his mouth. He's solid. He's good. My question is, how much of an update is he? I didn't expect him to take anybody's place on the shelf. He's got fairly good movement. Like I said, I never once thought, oh, this guy's going to take my main Venom. He's not going to be my main Venom. He's blue. I'm sure most people, they're like, who cares? I do. He's blue. I picture Venom black. But that wasn't my question. Even though I know he's not taking anybody's place, I wanted to know, how do I feel about him as opposed to him? And I've got an answer now that I'm able to look at him. One, not the same heads. This is a different head. I like this head a lot, by the way. And I like this head a lot, by the way. And that head is fine. It's fine. I like the eyes being what they are. I think that's cool with the fiery effect eyes. And I like the green stuff that's coming off the tongue. I think that's cool. But this is the better head, personally. Otherwise, they're reusing legs. The spiders are a slightly different paint job. Not just the fact that they're blue. That's a slightly different symbol as opposed to the one that he's got. That's fine. They look like they're using the same butterflies. They just painted the spider different, but I'm pretty sure those are the same butterflies. I really am. They seem like they have the same level of ab crunch. I think they have the same torso, as far as I could tell. They seem to have around the same neck and whatnot, which is the reason I'm claiming they might be the same torso. They might be slightly different. If they are, and this could be a trick of the eye. I'm looking at their backs. If they're different, they're barely different. Not noticeable. He has one thing on this Venom. One. This Venom has old arms. And this Venom has pinless arms. So they gave this Venom, they went out of their way to give the new Venom pinless joints on the arms, and 2 new heads, and then they reused, as far as I could tell, everything else. Everything. This 2-pack is mostly reuse with minor enhancements. He's blue, that's repaint. He has better arms, different heads. They pretty much redid the entire upper torso. Basically from his legs up, he's new. His arms and head is new. That's it. I'm not calling it out. I'm saying that's what I see here. And I think I'm right. I can't guarantee it. I'm no expert, but that's what it feels like is going on here. And for what it's worth, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think they gave us two very solid figures. I think they'll be on the shelf and they'll be very cool. And I don't think I hate the idea at all. I think that all of this works very well. This did take one thing off my shelf, though. I do think that you are off the shelf. I think so. I don't think, even though I really like this, I like that feature, I don't think it's enough to keep him on the shelf. I just don't think it is. Go to the chat. Get out of here for the night. I don't care, as far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass. That's a great looking cap, but I literally just ordered my Mafex Captain America earlier today. I don't know too much about Captain America. Never read it. I get that. I haven't read too much of it. I read four Marvel Essentials and like 2 trade paperbacks. And otherwise, he's just one of those characters that shows up for me. For me, my Captain America is John Walker, MCU, or Super Soldier Man or Super Soldier Man of War DC Marvel crossover. Okay. I thought I'd prefer the scales, but the smooth look actually pops. I know. See, so you're where I am. Yeah, I was fighting with myself about that because I thought for sure, I was like, look, he's not going to have the scales. I really like the scales. I've always liked the scales. How is this going to hit? But this, I don't know if it's the bigger chest or what, but like it really does work. Yeah, I'm right there with you. The question we are all asking is, can he do the Rob Liefeld chest puffed out look? No, I don't. Well, let's bring his arms back here. There. Not as bad, but he can kind of do it. They definitely should have slathered this thing in matte spray. Slathered this thing in matte spray. Come to think of it, they should matte spray almost the entire line. You talking about Venom? That he's like really kind of like shiny. I kind of get that, but as a defense, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not just like, I bought it so I want to defend my purchase. No, I'm being serious about this. There's something about him being kind of shiny that feels video game. I'm not kidding about that. I'm being very serious. Like him staying like dark and with a matte finish would probably help him a lot. It would probably make him that much cooler. But like this, there's honestly something cool about him being like shiny. It kind of feels video game like. I really do. I like that. Living in America. Thanks, man. Cap is one of those Superman-like characters. Even if you never read it, even if you never read it, even liked him, he's so synonymous with the genre and integral to it so many major stories that he's kind of unavoidable. Right. I think a lot of people end up putting a Captain America on their shelf and they don't even really know the first thing about him. I'm serious about that. I think he's a very regular character to see on a person's shelf in a collection where they don't really even have an attachment to the character or know the first thing about him realistically. I think he sold me on this 2-pack bill. I think I'll pick it up after the slew of pre-orders. The pre-orders are getting real, aren't they? I'm on a deadlock, actually. I think I just put my last items on pre-order that I can, And I think until all of my stuff is paid off and I know exactly where I sit, I don't think I'm touching anything for a while now. But I've got plenty. I've got plenty coming too. Thanks, man. Collect Deadpool? Cap is his favorite person. I do not collect Deadpool. At all. Collect Iron Man? Civil War, baby. I do have an Iron Man. Only one. And that wouldn't be a bad picture to take either, actually, now that you bring that up. Alright, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. As usual, I will, of course, post the thumbnail to this and whatnot. And I'll be back next Wednesday. And I will try to get a couple edits done. I don't know what the realism of that is, but we'll see how it goes later on, guys.